The Chicago Bulls. Throughout this NBA season, stories pointed toward the breakup of one of the NBA's all-time greatest teams. Stories continue to circulate that none of their top 3 players will return next season. Yet here they are, looking to march into the NBA Finals behind the same big 3. Behind the scoring of the NBA's MVP, Michael Jordan. The defensive brilliance of Scottie Pippen. And the unique contributions of Dennis Rodman. So the Bulls continue their run through the playoffs and toward a 6th NBA championship. With a Chicago win tonight, the Pacers are through, and the Bulls are through the East and on to the finals. Game 6 next.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1998 NBA playoffs. Tonight, it's the Chicago Bulls versus the Indiana Pacers.
Plenty of energy, but also plenty of tension apparent as Game 6 approaches at Market Square Arena. As a player with the Boston Celtics, Larry Bird went to the NBA Finals 5 times, winning 3. But inside his locker room, you see the faces of players who have never been there. None of them, with the exception of seldom used reserve Mark West, has ever been to the NBA Finals. They've got to win 2 in a row against the defending champions to get there, beginning tonight. And we welcome you inside Market Square Arena for Game 6. I'm Bob Costas. The Indiana Pacers will not go easily, especially at home. But for a moment, let's consider this from the Chicago Bulls' perspective. They want to win tonight and finish it tonight for 3 very important reasons. First and most obviously, if they let it go to a 7th game, there's no guarantee that they win that game, even though it would be played in Chicago. So that's item number 1. Number 2, by winning tonight, they'd gain at least a couple of extra days of rest before going to Utah to open the finals. If they let it go to Sunday, even if they win it, they head for Salt Lake City with virtually no rest. And number 3, if they let this go to a 7th game, even should they advance, it means that they went through the Eastern Conference Finals without winning on the road. They must win on the road to be champions for a 6th time because Utah holds home court advantage against them in the finals. Now, in their 5 championship seasons, the Bulls have played 20 playoff series. In only one of them have they been taken to an elimination game, and never in the conference finals or in the NBA finals. As we're joined by Isaiah Thomas and Doug Collins, we put the question to you, Doug. What do the Bulls have to do tonight to avoid a 7th and deciding game?
Well, Bob, in talking to Larry Bird today, his biggest concern is his team's defense. The Bulls are in a great offensive rhythm. In the last 3 games, you can see their first halves. 56, 54, and 57 points. Now, why has that occurred? Because their big 3 scorers have been terrific. Michael Jordan has got into the post early and often. Very little resistance in Game 5. Scottie Pippen's play has picked up, and he's been aggressive going to the basket. He's been vital. And then Tony Kukoc arguably having his best playoff series yet as a Chicago Bull. In Game 5, these 3 players combined for 68 points, which was 64% of their team's points. Bob, I think tonight for the Pacers, they must have a defensive stand in the first quarter. They must help on Michael Jordan early and get a body on Pippen and Kukoc. They need a defensive stand after what happened in Game 5.
Well, Doug, Larry Bird does get a key reserve. Jalen Rose back for Game 6. He served the 1-game suspension for Game 5. But it's hard to imagine, Zeke, that the Pacers will be heading for Chicago for a 7th game unless they get big numbers tonight from their 2 top scorers, Smits and Miller.
Bob, and when you talk about Reggie Miller and Rik Smits, the key word is aggression. Offensively, they must be aggressive. You see Smits at home, he's able to seal and get inside position. But on the road, he's been a totally different player. Let Longley box him out, able to shoot over the top, and Reggie Miller hasn't got a screen. Larry Bird wants his players to set screen. Miller can't get his own shot, so therefore Harper is chasing him off screens. And when you look at their productivity at home and on the road, you look at what they've done in the losses away from home. but you look at what they've done in the wins at home. Now, when you talk about the Indiana Pacers, again, it's going to depend on Reggie Miller and Rik Smits being aggressive offensively. Bob?
Now, moments ago, just before they hit the floor at Market Square, Michael Jordan had these words for his teammates.
Hey, listen, man, let's go. You got to play above the ref. Don't let the ref, check us out again. Let's go ahead and do our job.
What time is it? Game time!
Well, if there's concern about the refs and about them possibly taking either team out of this game, it is a good crew. Joe Crawford, Danny Crawford, and Hugh Hollins. Now, Hugh Hollins, as Bulls fans will remember, was involved in a controversial call, a foul call on Scottie Pippen in a playoff game against the Knicks when Michael Jordan was off playing baseball, a call that went against the Bulls, and the Bulls eventually lost that series. Fans don't forget, players don't forget. Hannah Storm and company will take it from the Showtime studio in New York after this message. Then we'll be back to Indiana for Game 6.
Hi, everybody. Hannah Storm back in our New York studio along with John Sally, Peter Vesey, and Matt Gukas. Tip-off for the Bulls and Pacers is 9:15 Eastern, and we'll send you back to Market Square Arena in just a few moments. Indiana coming off a Wednesday night performance in which they were both passive and very disappointing to their coach, Larry Bird. How do they turn things around at home tonight, Matt? They've been a different team at Market Square Arena.
Hannah, the Pacers have to take a page out of the Chicago book from Game 5, and that is be aggressive in taking the ball to the basket. And it starts with the point guards. Mark Jackson able to lessen some of Scottie Pippen's pressure in Game 3 by getting into more of an attack mode. And the book on Jackson forced him left, where he's not so much a scoring threat, but he can be a creator going that way. Into the lane, draws Tony Kukoc, the teardrop lob to Dale Davis for a rare hoop. And in the 2 Indiana wins, Travis Best has been the man in the fourth quarter. Nobody on Chicago can get a handle on Best, including Michael Jordan. And just enough scoring from Jackson and Best in those wins, and a very good assist-turnover ratio. Now, for Indiana to win, Reggie Miller and Rik Smits have to score and be productive, but it's the point guards that have to set the tone.
Well, you were actually right the other night, John. You said that the Chicago Bulls were going to come in and blow out the Pacers, and that's exactly what they did. But they haven't been able to dominate in Indianapolis. Can they repeat the performance tonight?
I think so. I'm sure they're going to come in, they're going to jump all over the Pacers tonight and establish exactly how the game is going to be. And I know that the Pacers are upset, and they say, hey, we got embarrassed in Chicago, but it's human nature to sit back and think, you know what, maybe we're not so good. Maybe these are the Bulls, and maybe they need to go into the finals. And I know the second idea is going to be that Utah is sitting back going, come on with the Bulls, we got the home court. But I know Chicago basketball was last Wednesday, and Utah has to be ready for it.
Pacers really have to wonder whether they can beat the Bulls when they turn it up, whether they want to go through that pain to get back to Chicago and then get spanked all over again.
That's right. You want to stay at home and go to sleep.
There has not been a Game 7 yet in this year's playoffs. The Indiana Pacers are hoping their home court magic can change that tonight. Tip-off of the Bulls and Pacers coming up from Indianapolis. The NBA playoffs on NBC continue right after these messages.
Counting the regular season, the Chicago Bulls have beaten the Indiana Pacers 5 out of 9. Prior to Game 5 of this series, almost all those games were close. In fact, there was only a 2-point differential between the teams through the first 8 games. Then came the Game 5 blowout, led by Michael Jordan, who had 29, and had he been forced to play more, probably could have had around 40. Tony Kukoc, after a slow start in this series, is now shooting 50% through 5 games. And Phil Jackson hoping for his 6th trip to the NBA Finals and a rematch with Jerry Sloan and the Utah Jazz. Miller and Jackson in the backcourt, although Travis Best has been getting a lot of playing time, as you know, at the point for Larry Bird. Smits has played well in the home games and has pretty much been shut down at the United Center. Larry Bird told us today he doesn't enjoy lobbying the officials, but he feels, as he puts it, that he's got to stand up for my guys because Phil Jackson is doing it for Chicago. We go to Amman.
All right, thanks, Bob. I was in the locker room of the Bulls before the game. Very business-like attitude. Michael Jordan told me that this game is all about closure. Now, Bob, you mentioned the things in our opening about if they win tonight, they have a longer rest period. If they lose, they at least can play Game 7. Michael told me that it is not about anything about that. It is about right here and right now. He says they're the defending NBA champions, and every now and then you got to prove that. Tonight will be one of those nights. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. Well, I spoke to Larry Bird, and he is very disappointed with his team and the way they played in Game 5. He said they lacked effort. He said he's not going to tolerate that at all tonight. He went on to say that he feels that the Bulls are going to come in here very, very confident because of that performance. He concluded by saying, we've got to beat the Bulls not twice, but 4 times. I derive absolutely no moral victories or any personal satisfaction in losing 4 games to 2. It means nothing to me. I hope my team understands that. Bob?
Jim, thanks, and we're underway. The tip to the Pacers. Smits from Miller. He takes the game's first shot and gets the roll on it. Pippen is cutting and Kukoc sees it. Scottie missed it but keeps it alive. Another drive to the left hand and he ties the game. Kukoc did not get the assist on that good pass, but he had 7 assists Wednesday night, really showing good vision.
Well, this is exactly what Scottie Pippen did in Game 5, take the ball right to the front of the basket. He did it 3 possessions in a row the other night. Tonight you see it once again.
Dale Davis bounces off Kukoc, and Indiana reclaims the early lead.
And you see the aggression right away that Indiana has, going with Smits directly to the basket and Davis directly to the basket.
Harper around a Longley screen. Luke's got it back. And a whistle from Joe Crawford for an Indiana foul. It's on Mullen. Larry Bird told us earlier today he's looking for some aggression. Controlled aggression, sure, but some sort of aggressiveness from his team. He felt they were entirely too passive as the game got away from them in Chicago on Wednesday night. Michael with a nice look inside for Longley, but he can't finish it. Now his pass deflected and stolen by Jackson. He's got Miller on his right. Reggie for 3. And Kukoc has the rebound. Those are the kind of open looks they're looking for in transition. But that time they couldn't put it down. Harper baseline. Longley follows.
Not a good sign now. Good defense by the Pacers. They've given up 4 offensive rebounds right now, Bob. Rebounding has not been a factor in the 5-game series, but tonight, look for that on the boards for the Chicago Bulls.
And the reason why, Doug, is because they're double teaming Jordan in the post, which is leaving one of their offensive players available to go get the board.
Dale Davis muscles it home for his second hoop.
See, that's a matchup that they can exploit all night because Kukoc doesn't have the strength to guard Davis inside.
Kukoc from Pippen. Ties it at 6.
Tony Kukoc is playing with such confidence. Bobby's a much better player when he starts. Now, I know that puts Dennis Rodman on the bench, but when Kukoc gets into flow and hits his early shots, he's a dynamic player for this team.
He had 19 with 7 assists and 5 rebounds in Game 5. Jackson misses the 3. Trying to hawk Kukoc from behind, but Tony gets rid of it to Pippen. He may have traveled, no call. Michael's first shot is long. Rebound Miller. Smits lost it. Jordan chases it down.
Michael Jordan read that all the way from the weak side. Read Mark Jackson's eyes, got the steal.
Pippen misses the 3. Davis outlets to Jackson. Mullen with a good look, but can't hit it. Jackson wins the loose ball fight. Smits screening for Miller. And Reggie is fouled by Longley.
Chris Mullin missing a moment ago. A bad sign for the Pacers. Because the Bulls are so good defensively, and Mullin at this stage of his career has lost what little quickness he once had, it's hard for him to get his own shot. But even when he has gotten open looks off passes and screens, he hasn't hit them consistently. He's shooting only 35% and averaging only 7 points a game in this series.
Bob, what impresses me most about Reggie Miller, the way he started this game, he came out and took an open three, and then he put it on the floor and drove to the basket. And that's the type of aggression offensively that he must have and continue throughout the course of this game.
Good sign also for the Pacers. They came up with 2 loose balls on that possession. They didn't get any of them in the United Center the other night.
Kukoc misses a 3. Jackson clutches the rebound. Davis working on Kukoc again. Jumper in the lane. Missed it, but he was fouled.
See, Chicago's going to have to make a decision. Do they come back and double team and leave Davis, or do they come back off of one of the shooters, either Reggie Miller or Mark Jackson? And Bird told us that he would like for Mark Jackson to step up and make a 3 early in the game to open up the inside for them.
He's taken 1 thus far and missed it. Dale Davis, as we've told you, is not a good free throw shooter at all. He makes his points, or makes his money, on the boards and gets his points in the lane. He missed the first and makes the second. Four minutes in, Michael Jordan hasn't scored. He's missed his only shot. Harper driving. Misses the reverse. Jordan has it.
Another offensive rebound. The Bulls are really swarming that offensive boards tonight. The Pacers must rebound the basketball. Your initial defense is no good if you can't come up with the rebound.
Michael's first basket makes it 9-8 Indiana. Jackson out to Mullin. Now he gets it back. Smits turns and hits.
Mark Jackson, vital for him to penetrate. He faked the outside jump shot, got in the lane. Smits slides to that open area and he finds him. Great start for Rik Smits today.
Davis comes over to help Miller with Jordan. Longley loses control and Mullin takes it from him. Jackson. Smits. Miller hops one from the corner. It's short. Gets it back. Kukoc knocked it away from him. It's still Pacer ball. The clock stops with 6:38 to play in the first. Pacers by 3.
Tonight, the Indiana Pacers are trying to establish an inside game. They've done that early. They've gone to Rik Smits, the up and under with the good post position. And Dale Davis, having to play Kukoc, says, I'm going to pound inside and use my superior power. 2 inside scores here early. Vital for them to get in the paint early to open up the perimeter. You don't start outside and go inside. You want to go inside, outside.
Pacer ball after the timeout. Smits screening for Jackson, who fires the open jumper and misses it. But Indiana does appear to be doing a better job setting screens to try and give the ball handlers and shooters a little more room than they had in Game 5. Mullin bumping with Pippen, and Scottie travels.
It looked like Scottie was looking around for the double team. I don't think they're going to double team him. I think he just needs to go quickly to the basket. Got caught with a shuffling of his feet there. Scottie can post up Mullin with those long arms.
And also, I think he was concerned about Mullin stripping the ball, Doug, because you know his hands are so quick down there.
Jackson's floater swatted away by Kukoc. Here goes Jordan. Mullin fouls him. Michael hits it anyway and will get the free throw.
How about that concentration by Michael Jordan? The breakaway, Chris Mullin really didn't want to let him score here, but if you're going to take this kind of foul on Michael, you've got to grab his right arm. And what Chris did, he reaches in and he hits him on the head. Look at the concentration. He keeps his eyes on the target. The greatness, he's always thinking 3 instead of 2.
The foul was Mullin's second. 3-point play, 5 points for Jordan. Game tied at 11.
Bob, a lot of times guys hear that whistle and they sort of give up on the play. Michael hears that whistle and he thinks basket and foul.
Miller, catch, shoot, no. Rebound Davis. Michael's on Mullin. Smits, double teamed, so it's Jackson for 3. There's that three-pointer Larry Bird was talking about.
Now what that does is they won't come off of Jackson as much, and that should allow Mullin to get into the game because he's a great spot-up shooter.
Longley, left hand, over Smits, and a whistle. The foul is on Smits. Let's go back to the previous play.
Isaiah, what this opens up, when Pippen goes back and helps, if Mark Jackson will make this shot, then when Scottie closes out, now he can get the penetrating dribble, get in the lane, and find his open shooters, whether it be a Mullin, a Smits, or a Miller. We see Mark Jackson leaving the floor. I think he collided with Michael Jordan on that last play.
He's replaced by Travis Best. Best and Jackson have never been on the floor even for a second at the same time in this series. So their combined minutes equal 48 in each game. And as a combination, they put up 18 points, 9 assists, and almost 6 rebounds a game. So that essentially is what Larry Bird is getting from his point guard spot.
You know, Bob, they had the shaky first start in games 1 and 2, but since then, they've really settled into this series and have handled the ball well and gotten the ball in position so Miller and Smits can do their job.
Miller dumps it into Smits. Over Longley. Off to a good start.
The reason he's getting the ball is because he's screening. The screener is the man who will be open because Reggie can now get the pass and be in great position to feed the post.
Chicago asked for time. That is an old adage, isn't it, Zeke? The screener gets the shot.
Yeah, that's what they taught at Indiana. That's what Bob Knight was big at. You watch Smits setting the screen, and the screener gets the shot. Whoever sets the screen, you sacrifice your body. Now he has position inside. He gives them the up and under and the bucket. And you're watching the NBA on NBC.
Yeah, you do it, Zeke.
I'm sorry, NBC.
Welcome back to Indianapolis. I'm Jim Gray. You see Mark Jackson. He is back out on the bench. He went into the locker room after this play to visit with trainer David Craig. He collides right here with Michael Jordan and goes down and hits his left knee. He was concerned and scared about it, just wanted to run it off, get on the bike for just a minute. They looked it over. He's fine, and he'll return to the game. Bob?
Thanks, Jim. And entering the game for the first time now after the timeout are Antonio Davis and Derek McKee for Indiana. Scottie Pippen gets inside, but there's a whistle before the shot. And the foul is on Reggie.
The moment McKee came into the game, he went right over to Michael Jordan. That put Miller on Scottie Pippen. Now they're going to attack Reggie. If he's got a bad ankle, they're going to go at him. So he's going to have to play some post defense, whether it's Michael or Scottie.
Here is Michael with the jumper. 2 defenders on him. Soft touch. He gets the roll. Ahmad Rashad tells us that on that same collision with Mark Jackson, Michael Jordan sustained a small cut on his hand, which apparently has been closed because you can't be in the game if you're bleeding. Harper on Miller. He deals it out to Best. 5 seconds to shoot. Best will. And it's way off. Harper kicks it but recovers it. Nearly traveled, but no call. Bulls down by 1. And an illegal defense warning against the Pacers. With play stopped, Dennis Rodman makes his first appearance. He's averaging 10 rebounds and 30 minutes played, as you see.
in this series. He averaged 15 rebounds a game for the regular season and 16 a game through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. But he's only started 1 of these 6 games.
Reggie Miller is very upset here. He feels like that Dennis Rodman bangs him on this shuffle cut. And so Antonio goes over and gives Pippen a bump. So you already see the Pacers have put more bodies on the Bulls player tonight than they did the entire Game 5.
And Doug, as we talked about in Game 5, the speed of the Chicago Bulls is the thing that gives the Pacers problems. So when you put a body on them, that negates that speed.
That's Davis's first. Pacers are over the limit. For complete coverage of the NBA Conference Finals, go online and step into the NBA.com arena. Listen to a live audio broadcast, view real-time stats or shot charts, and watch video highlights of every contest. After the game, look for news, photos, notes, and interviews. NBA.com, your ultimate guide to the playoffs. Pippen, who was 6 of 9 at the free throw line in Game 5, which isn't great, but is an improvement over the 50% that he was shooting through the first 4 games, makes them both here, and the Bulls lead by 1.
You can see after every made free throw, the Bulls have gone to full court pressure.
Davis got inside for the dunk. Harper has an open look at a 3, but misses it. Dale Davis has the rebound. Kicked out by the Bulls. Indiana made 8 field goals in the entire first half of Game 5, going 14 minutes, incredibly, in one stretch, between the end of the first and a substantial portion of the second period without a field goal. They missed 18 consecutive shots during that terrible run. They've already scored 7 times from the field in the first 9 minutes or so of this first quarter.
Bob, they've come out and been very aggressive defensively, and that's helped their offense. And you can see Reggie Miller, how he's pushed Michael Jordan off the post.
And that ties their first half output, their 8th field goal on the McKee hook.
This has also been a pattern. Anytime McKee has been played by Michael Jordan, they've gone at him in the post and tried to post up Michael. That time they were successful.
Rodman can't hit it, but does keep it alive, and now he's fouled, and he applauds the judgment of the officials. It's 1 on McKee.
Again, you must make Michael Jordan play on both ends of the floor. So McKee is going to try to post him up here. He gets good position. Michael is so very strong down there. But Derek McKee takes his time, uses his height advantage, and gets the little baby hook to go in the lane.
Rodman makes the first.
Isaiah, have you noticed that Dennis Rodman has had a lot of layups in this series, and it looks like he's shooting them too quickly. He has more time, but he's catching it and just sort of flinging at the basket. I think he'd slow himself down. He'd get himself 3 or 4 layups in these games.
You know, that's always been the problem with Dennis Rodman. He really doesn't have an offensive mind. He's only thinking defense and rebounding, and a lot of times he's open but can't convert.
Miller's open and can convert.
To Chicago is pressure in Indiana up court. And anytime you feel pressure, the best way to beat pressure is with the pass and not the dribble.
Scottie with a turnaround. Rodman on the offensive glass.
See, Miller's doing such a good job that he didn't do in Game 5 by keeping those guys out of the post.
Jordan hits a 3.
And in this series, he's 5 of 11. That makes him 6 of 12, so he's shooting 50% from the three-point line.
And barely over 20% on threes during the season. McKee with the reverse that won't fall. And Rodman with another rebound. We're tied at 22. Michael tongue-wagging into the lane, hits the jumper. He has a dozen, half of Chicago's output so far. Reggie, short with a 3. It's put to Davis, who misses it, but Antonio was fouled.
Now you watch Jordan. He'll get himself balanced right here. Long pass, and as they back away from him, he steps up and nails the three. Now Jordan is really tough in the open court. Loves to go right, gets the angle on Miller, squares himself up, and there's nothing Reggie Miller can do about that when he has that type of angle on him.
The foul was on Pippen, his first. Randy Brown comes in for Chicago as Davis misses the first free throw. Here comes Bill Wennington off the Bulls bench, and Kukoc will sit down.
Look to see when Chicago comes down on this possession, if they run an isolation from Michael from the wing area. They like to do this when he gets it going a little bit.
Here's Wennington. His first touch results in a shot that's short. Out of bounds and touched last by Chicago. Brown on best. Dale Davis. Fouled by Wennington.
That was a great sweep-through move by Davis. He faced Wennington up and then swept the ball right to him, and Wennington couldn't move his feet. Watch as he establishes his position. Now there's the sweep, and he's going and he catches Wennington. He can't move his feet, and now you got him beat. That's a great post-up move by Dale Davis.
A hand for Jalen Rose, who's preparing to report in, which is all he claims he was doing toward the end of Game 4. The league saw it differently. Said he came off the bench during a fight and suspended him for Game 5. Even with him, and probably with the Indiana National Guard, the Pacers weren't going to win Game 5 in Chicago anyway, the way it turned out.
Well, if they would have made that substitution, then Reggie Miller wouldn't have been in to make the game-winning shot, because just who Jalen Rose claims he was coming in for.
Now, Bob, look for a 2-for-1 possession here for Chicago right now with 39 seconds. They like to close quarters very strongly. We have a tie game right now. They'd like to get 2 hoops and stop Indiana to go in with the lead.
They bring in a shooter in Steve Kerr, replacing Randy Brown. Game tied at 24. Michael, knocked away from behind by Rose. Jordan thinks he was fouled. The officials don't. Jalen Rose will shoot it and miss it. Rodman's going to be called for a rebounding foul.
And you see the effects that Jalen Rose has had as soon as he comes into the game. I mean, he'll come from behind. He was pressing Scottie Pippen, and he gets a hand on Jordan's shot. That's what they missed the other night, was his defensive ability, his quickness, and he's able to guard Jordan. I think he got Jordan a little bit right there in the face, too, as he came down after that shot.
Now, Isaiah, it's going to be very important. Both Davis boys have gotten to the free throw line in this first quarter. It's important they make their free throws. You get in these kind of games where this hotly contested, where there are no layups, free throws become very, very important.
And Davis, Antonio Davis, clangs the first one.
Now you look at what Indiana's bench has done. That's been the key to their success the whole season, is the way their bench has been playing. However, the problem in this series, Doug, is that their starters have been outplayed by Chicago's starters.
Dale Davis rebounds Antonio's miss, but they still come up empty. Rodman has been taken out by Phil Jackson, replaced by Dickie Simpkins. He was still jawing with Hugh Hollins, and I guess that Phil didn't want to risk a tee. Steve Kerr pops and misses at the buzzer. Through the first 12 minutes, tied at 24. Jordan with triple Miller's output. Reggie just 1 of 5 from the floor. No advantage established yet. Back for the second quarter at Market Square after this. This is, as you know, the NBA on NBC.
You're watching the NBA on NBC. The 1998 NBA playoffs.
Michael Jordan had a big first quarter in Game 5 and a big game, and he did it in the paint. He had 8 field goals in the paint in Game 5. Tonight, he has 12 points, which is dynamic. But look, only 1 inside the paint. Now, will that take its toll on Michael as the game goes along? He's working very, very hard. The other night, they gave him easy scores. And in the 10 wins, you can see he averages 6 field goals in the paint. And in the 3 losses, only 2. He goes out more on the perimeter, and his free throws come down. Tonight, that's been the same pattern. He still has 12 points. But what will that mean as the game goes on?
As we begin the second period, Jordan on the bench, Rodman back in the Chicago lineup. Scott Burrell makes his first appearance. There's Burrell with the ball. Longley to the cutting Pippen. He was fouled, nearly a 3-point play possibility.
Isaiah, you know this because you played against this Chicago Bulls triangle offense. When that ball goes into the post and you're guarding the corner, you have to drop off and you cannot get beat on that baseline cut. And they're consistently getting beat on that little give and go from the center on that baseline cut.
Yeah, right now, Doug, they're so aggressive that McKee, he should have dropped off and cut the baseline. However, in the triangle, in the triple post, what concerns you is when you drop in there, Scottie Pippen coming over the top for the split cut. So that's why this offense is so good for the Chicago Bulls, because it totally keeps you off balance.
So far tonight, Pippen is 4 for 4 at the line. Antonio Davis against Rodman. Smits to Jalen Rose. And it looks like an illegal defense warning. And it is the first on Chicago.
It's Ron Harper. Anybody who plays Mark Jackson is going to be the roamer. That time it was Ron Harper, and he got caught by Hugh Hollins.
Now, Smits got off to a great start in the first quarter. He was 3 for 3. Let's see if they can get him back involved in the second quarter.
See Longley in front of him? No, he was working hard to get in front.
Mullen deals it out to Rose. Jalen Rose from the head of the key.
It's amazing how much better the Indiana bench plays at home than they do on the road. It's almost like 2 different teams.
Tied again at 26. Harper double team. Finds Longley. Now Rodman. Misses the bank attempt, and Jackson has the rebound. Jackson pulling up in the lane, ball knocked free, and Rose chases it down. Mullen with a leaner, good off the glass.
They need Chris Mullen to give him some points because he's a liability defensively otherwise. So when he's out there, he must look to score.
That was his first basket. Longley had both Harper and Pippen underneath, but the pass goes astray. Pacers have the ball and a 2-point lead. And we'll be back. The view of Indianapolis from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes based in Pompano Beach, Florida. Tonight's pilot, Jim Maloney, who I assume is not the former Cincinnati Red right-hander who tossed a couple of no-hitters. Have you researched that, Zeke?
No, Bob. No hitters. Jim Maloney. Can't go that deep.
But we have depth when it comes to sideline reporters, including Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. Well, Larry Bird wants Rik Smits to stay involved in the game offensively, not just occasionally, but every time down the court. They need his offensive input, and they need him to touch the ball and work the ball around and pass it or go to the hoop, like he has right now. Bob?
Good call, Jimmy.
That was a great screen by Antonio Davis that freed up Rik Smits coming across the lane.
And Scottie Pippen more reluctant to help because Mark Jackson hit that 3-point shot.
Timeout, Chicago.
Pacer fans, it's time for the night's backcourt trivia question, courtesy of the Pacers.
The Chicago Bulls, specifically Luke Longley, did a wonderful job on their defense against Rik Smits. A lot of it due to the poor screening. He got pushed off the block. He shot fading jump shots. He got in front of him. He pushed him off the post. And when he went to the basket, he got help. It was a long night, 3 for 11 from the floor, and a long night also for the Indiana Pacers. Tonight, Rik Smits, he's been a different player here at home. He comes off the back screen. It's a double back screen. He catches it in the post. He takes his time. He looks around, gets his rhythm, fades away, and a little patented baseline jumper.
After the timeout, Bulls trail by 4. This is the biggest lead for either team. It's been close throughout. Pippen's floater's no good. Harper has the offensive rebound.
I think Smits may have got away with a goaltending right there.
With Michael on the bench, Scottie looking to take control offensively. Drives baseline, double pumps. He's coming to the line with a chance to complete a three-point play.
Bob, what happened on that play in Isaiah? You had Rik Smits strung out in the corner, Gordon Scottie, and you got to push him back to the middle to help. Mark Jackson was running over to help him. You probably see him come in the screen to come over to double team him, but Smits lets him go baseline where there is no help. And now you give up the possible three-point play. You always have to push your people to help.
Doug, you know, a lot of times when you're guarding someone in the corner and you see that defender coming to help you out of the weak side of your eye, you have a tendency to relax a little bit, and that's what Smits did. He relaxed a little bit, and Pippen faked him and went baseline.
He really took a shot, wincing a bit as he stands at the line. Here's Ahmad.
That's right, Bob. As Scottie Pippen walked towards the bench, he was really out of wind as he was driving to the basket. He took an elbow by Jalen Rose just as he let that ball go, but obviously he's still able to continue playing. Bob?
And a three-point play as he's 5 of 5 from the line tonight. The foul on Rose was his first. Jordan checks back in, and it's a 1-point Indiana lead. Pacer ball.
Well, they're really making a conscious effort to put a body on Pippen every time he moves. Chris Mullin just set a backcourt screen on him. Pippen ran into some contact, and that's what they did so successfully, Doug, in game 3 and 4.
Bob, now Chicago has gone small, so they'll put Kukoc on Smits, and there's another one of those threes by Mark Jackson.
They virtually dare him to take them, and now he's hit 2 out of 3. Reggie Miller's back in for Larry Bird. Scott Burrell is open. He has not been putting down open shots like this the past several games, so it's important for him to hit his first one tonight, which he just did.
See, Kukoc could not front him, so he should just take his time to double team. Mark Jackson will be able to now penetrate.
Kukoc has him on a switch. Jackson's pass into the lane, broken up by Burrell and taken by Kukoc. All the way to the hoop and fouled by Jalen Rose. And here's Jim Gray.
All right, Bob. Well, there's been so much talk about Reggie Miller's sprained ankle. In Game 4, he said he shouldn't have been out on the court. He hit the game-winning shot. Felt the same way going into Game 5. Also said it publicly. Larry Bird said to him, hey, if you can't be on the court, I don't want you on the court. That's what he told us today, Bird. He said, come to me before the game. If you can play, we'll play you. If you can't play, I don't want to hear after the game that you shouldn't have been out there. Reggie gave him the thumbs up, gave me the thumbs up, and he's out there playing. Bob?
Thanks, Jim. Zeke, concealing or downplaying injuries is part of the game, especially in the playoffs.
You're absolutely right, Bob, and you never want to let on that you're injured in the playoffs, especially if you're the leader or the superstar of your team, because that gives the Chicago Bulls a right to attack you.
The ball was kicked, and the Pacers will have it out of bounds. Larry Bird was telling us in his office today about the '87 finals between the Celtics and the Lakers, two of the greatest teams in NBA history, and Kevin McHale played that series with a broken bone in his foot.
I remember that series because they beat us to advance, and Lambeer, every time McHale came down and tried to post up, Lambeer was kicking him in the foot.
Jalen Rose hits the open J.
I can't believe Bill Lambeer would do something like that unless you told him to do it.
Hey, we wanted to win, and we would have done anything to beat the Celtics at that time.
Lambeer was, of course, a noted pacifist. Here's Kukoc. Bulls trail it by 3. Jordan has trouble with the dribble. Ball loose. Michael turns it over. Rose thinking about it. Now doing it, but a whistle.
See, this is what they missed the other night with Jalen Rose, because he gives it to you offensively and defensively. He's become quite a defensive player in this league, and you see him put the pressure there on Jordan, forcing him into the trap. You know, when he came out of college, Doug, he was known as an offensive player, but under Bird, he's become quite a defender.
Rose driving. The previous foul on Burrell was before the shot. This one also comes before the shot, so the basket doesn't count. It's Burrell again, his second. Pacers by 3. And you're watching the NBA on NBC.
Now, with Jalen Rose being back in the game, and he's so important to this Indiana team offensively and defensively because he can create his own shot. You see him take the J off the dribble, and then he can square up and take the J. And look at him defensively as he forces Jordan into the double team. They feed off his energy, his emotion, and most important of all, Doug, he brings a toughness to their bench that they didn't have the other night.
I took the words out of my mouth. Toughness and competitiveness. You have to have that against the Bulls. The same set out-of-bounds play. They run it from the other side. It's a staggered back screen for Rik Smits. Great low post position in the score.
See, Doug, they're getting Smits in the post off the move tonight. Game 5, they were trying to just have him use his strength against Longley.
Kukoc answers at the other end. Meanwhile, Smits is 5 for 5.
Smits will get a little jumper here on the rotation.
You called it. 6 for 6. Well, they're going Dutch treat tonight.
And he's important for them, but Jackson recognized early that he had a mismatch with Kerr, backed him down, the double team came, and Smits was able to nail the jumper.
Kukoc wheeling to the hoop. Out of bounds, and let's see who has it. Chicago will. Pacers by 5. Smits started game 5 0 for 6. Tonight, 6 for 6. Michael, turnaround on Miller. Spins out, followed by Rodman.
Smits just can't block him out. He's not quick enough. They didn't double that time. They let Reggie play him straight up. And although Michael missed the shot, no block out.
Jackson drives on Kerr and connects. As soon as he saw Kerr as the defender, he tried to use his superior quickness to get past him. Jackson is not quicker than many defenders he faces, but he is a bit quicker than Kerr.
Well, that's a battle of the 2 slow turtles.
Burrell with a 3. It's an air ball out of bounds to Indiana.
See, Bob, the thing that I'm noticing right now is how tough Reggie Miller is defending Jordan in the post. You're never going to stop him. However, he's giving him some resistance tonight, forcing him to that mid-zone area as opposed to letting him back him all the way down.
Let's see if they go back to the screen and roll again with Smits rolling out for the jump shot.
Here's Smits. And an offensive foul. Offensive foul on Indiana.
Rik Smits is right here. They're going to force it down. The help, Rik Smits works right over here for the jump shot. Michael Jordan doesn't rotate, and that's Rik Smits' spot. They know they can get that shot anytime they want it.
To Longley. Back to Michael for the reverse. He was fouled. A reminder that tomorrow at 3 Eastern Time, NBC begins its coverage of the French Open from Roland Garros in Paris. Michael Chang, women's number 2 seed Lindsay Davenport, and Serena Williams, Venus's younger sister, are on the schedule. And on Sunday, take note that we also begin our coverage at 3 Eastern Time. Highlighting the slate, top seed Martina Hingis, Monica Seles, Marcelo Rios, and Venus Williams. That's the French Open tomorrow and Sunday, each day at 3 Eastern on NBC. Smits, picking up his 3rd foul, has to go out. It hurts to sit him when he's hot, but Larry Bird has no choice. Michael missed the first one, but not the second.
You can also see with Chris Mullin not getting it done offensively and Jalen Rose being back, he's getting the bulk of the minutes tonight with Mark Jackson and Reggie Miller.
Now it's Jordan on Jackson. Here's Rose driving, pull-up jumper. Jalen Rose came to play after being forced out of Game 5 with the suspension.
Jalen Rose has been huge in this series. He's becoming a big-time player in this league. I'm so proud to see him growing up and accepting the challenge.
The last 3 times, the Pacers have beaten the Bulls twice in this series, and their last meeting of the regular season, Jalen Rose had big games each time. Jordan. It'll be Pacer ball.
You watch Jalen Rose off the Jackson penetration, the pump fake, the little show and go, uses his momentum against Burrell to get the shot off.
I say the difference between he and Chris Mullin, as you see the numbers and the 2 wins and the losses in the games he played, is that he can create his own shot, whereas Chris Mullin's got to be more catch and shoot.
This is a speed series, Doug, and you got to have speed to play against the Chicago Bulls.
Pippen's back in. Jalen Rose. This time he misses. A foul as they battle for the rebound, and it's Longley.
See, they caught Longley holding Davis's arm underneath. He was out of position, and he went up for the rebound, and Longley locked his arm underneath.
2 on Luke. Each team with 14 fouls in this quarter. They'll each be over the limit with their next one. Antonio Davis. Jackson. 3 of 4 on threes in this first half.
If Scottie Pippen is going to double team, Mark Jackson must make that shot.
Thus far he has. Pippen to the hoop. Scottie Pippen now with 11.
They're going back to that curl move. You're going to see Reggie Miller curl over Davis, try to post him up, and Mark Jackson will work to the open spot.
Antonio Davis on the move. It hung on the lip and then fell home.
See, they're making Longley move his feet. They're pulling him out 15 feet away from the basket and letting Davis use his foot speed to go around him.
Listen to the crowd at Market Square, all of them on their feet. Pacers by 9. Pippen can't cut into it. Kukoc bats it to Harper, and Longley is rejected. Harper chases it down. Someone got a small piece of that, and Jackson has it. Looking for a double-digit lead. Jackson to Dale Davis. He's fouled. The momentum did not travel along the interstate from Chicago for the Bulls. All right, Hannah, we'll be watching and listening at halftime. Doug.
Bob, let's take a look at what happens when Mark Jackson, here's Scottie Pippen. Now, he's going to give help on the drive. This is the first time they run the play. You kick out, and Mark Jackson steps in, and he hits the three-point shot. So I said, you know what? They're going to come right back to the same play. Now, keep your eye on Scottie Pippen this time. You step out on the floor, you use your quickness. Scottie, are you going to help this time? The answer is no. So what do? You keep your dribble, and you go right to the basket. That's good execution, and that's why you must shoot the perimeter shot.
After an utterly miserable first half in Game 5, in which they missed 18 straight shots in one stretch, the Pacers are shooting 61% in this half, and they've made 11 of 12 in this second quarter. But one thing they cannot cure is Dale Davis's inefficiency at the free throw line. He misses again.
The Davis boys combined are 3 for 9 right now from the free throw line. Remember, these guys are getting there. They've got to be able to convert. They could blow this into a double-digit lead by half.
The reason why they're so successful on offense this first 2 quarters is because they only have 3 turnovers. They're handling the ball much better than they have in the past.
Davis's second free throw does establish a double-digit lead at 10. And now Pippen loses it. Here comes Jalen Rose. He's got Miller on his left. He pulls up and fires. And back rims it. Miller playing Jordan. Pippen from Rodman for 3. Big basket for Chicago. They're within 7.
See, when that ball goes into the post, if you drop off as Mark Jackson did, then Scottie Pippen can step back and shoot the 3.
But you'd much rather live with an outside jump shot than a layup.
Pippen has 14. Miller is open on Jackson's pass. Got a good look, but couldn't hit it. Kukoc knocked out of bounds by Davis. Chicago ball, 11 on the shot clock.
Now, Isaiah, remember now, Michael out of bounds on this play. You've got to watch that he doesn't get the lob. You know he's going to come off. Boy, look for it that time, and Longley step back.
Longley on the move. Hits the sweeping left-hand hook. They've cut the 10-point deficit in half. It's 49-44 with exactly a minute left in the half.
You know, I think Reggie Miller right now, Doug, is settling for too many long J's. He has a chance and the opportunity to shorten the shot, but right now he's settling for the 3-point line.
He's 1 for 6 in this half.
Well, Michael's chasing him, so he is not letting him get open. Chasing him from side to side.
Here he is again. And now he's 1 for 7. But Davis gives them a fresh 24, and it's Jackson missing this 3. Jordan back. Pippen for 3. Out of bounds to the Bulls.
Remember, Jalen Rose had a breakaway jump shot from about 12 feet that would have given him a 12-point lead. If the Bulls can score here, they can cut it down to 3. That's how those little shots and those runs change everything, especially going into the halftime break.
You know, and Jim Gray told us that Bird told his team in the huddle that these last 2 minutes was the most important 2 minutes of their season because he knew Chicago was going to make a run here to try to cut the lead, and they have.
Shot clock and game clock virtually identical.
Scottie Pippen looked up. He didn't take the shot. That was very smart. Although he had a mismatch, they want to get the last shot here. This could be a real momentum play. If the Pacers can stop them, they'll go in excited. If the Bulls can score, it'll give them a lift.
It'll be Michael to the basket and drawing the foul.
How about the strength of Jordan in the air, absorbs the contact, and knocks Dale Davis back.
There was not going to be any jump shot on this play, Isaiah.
So you watch him use his momentum here as he comes right, goes into the air, absorbs the blow, and he's coming so hard he knocks Dale Davis down. That's how strong he is.
But the difference in the game tonight and in game 5 is he and Scottie and Tony went unimpeded into the basket and laid the ball in the basket. Tonight, Indiana's putting their body on him.
2.8 seconds. In theory, time for Indiana to get off the shot.
And you look how successful he's been this series against the Pacers. But most of his points, as you pointed out the other night, Doug, when he's hot and he gets into a rhythm, he likes to start inside. And what Indiana has been successful in doing tonight is that they've kept him on the perimeter thus far.
15 in this half for Jordan. Pippen has 14. A little under 3 seconds. Davis trying to get it in. Jackson behind the back will have to heave it at the buzzer. And what was a 10-point Pacer lead is sliced to 3 at the half.
Now stay tuned for the Prudential Halftime Report. Anna Storm and company will be with you after these messages. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
At halftime, the Pacers lead the Bulls 49-46. We talk now about the first half. And Matt, Rik Smits has been hot and cold the entire playoffs. Like everybody else, he was dismal on Wednesday night in Chicago. You said the Pacers had to have his offense in the first half tonight.
Well, Rik Smits is such a vital part to Indiana's success. Sometimes he gets lost, and sometimes he's just too passive. It's always a good idea to go to him early, see what he's got. Nice up and under against Longley. And this isn't the best position in the world for Smits. Generally, when he turns baseline, he'll let that shot go, makes it a degree of difficulty shot, but still gets it down. And because of the early success, he draws the double team from Pippen and the wide open look for Mark Jackson. 12 points in the first half for Rik Smits, making all of his field goals, but curiously enough, no rebounds. He's not the greatest rebounder in the world, but Rik Smits becomes almost even more important when Reggie Miller is struggling with that sore ankle.
He is struggling. 1 of 7 Miller is from the field, just 4 points, 0 for 5 from three-point range. Now, typically in this series, John, the Bulls have come out strong in the third quarter. What do you expect from them after halftime?
Well, even the Bulls knew that they were going to come out with energy and determination, and they said, okay, they're going to make their runs. And in the second quarter, they made a really surge to take over and was up by 10, but the Bulls just hung in there. Now they're only down 3. In the second half, the Bulls have to stop being passive by taking three-pointers and taking jump shots and not wanting to get hit. They have to get them in foul trouble.
They haven't been getting those easy dunks and layups like they did on Wednesday night.
Right.
The Pacers lead the Bulls by 3. We'll send you back to Indiana for the second half after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential, bringing strength and stability to America's families through insurance, healthcare, real estate, and financial services.
This obviously has been a home team dominated series through the first 5, but each of these teams did win once on the other's court during the regular season. Chicago, which once trailed by 10, now within 3 as we approach the third quarter, trying to win on the road and close this one out. Back with Doug Collins and Isaiah Thomas. I'm Bob Costas at Market Square Arena. What jumps out at you from the stat sheet, Doug?
Well, there's a lot of interesting numbers, but the one is that Tony Kukoc, Scottie Pippen, and Michael Jordan all played over 20 minutes in the first half. For the Indiana Pacers, only Reggie Miller at 20 minutes. So once again, will the Pacer depth wear this Bulls team down at home?
Let's take a look at the Miller Lite halftime stats, Zeke.
And with Indiana, go ahead. Why don't you do the trends for us?
Well, I think when you look at Chicago, it's interesting. They only shot 38%, but they were terrific at the line, 14 of 16, and they finished the half on an important 7-0 run in the last 2 minutes to close the lead to 3. Rik Smits was excellent, 12.6 of 6, but he has 3 fouls. We'll have to watch that. And Reggie Miller, only 1 of 7, 0 for 5 from the three-point line.
And the thing that jumps out to me for the Indiana Pacers, when you look at Rik Smits and Dale Davis, both those two combined are 9 for 10 from the field. Now you see Reggie Miller struggling a little bit, but Smits' inside play, if he continues to play well inside, will open it up for Miller outside to start bombing away. And on the other hand, you got the two, Jordan and Pippen, Batman and Robin leading scorers again. It's important for the others to step up and continue to play well. You look at Jordan's shot chart. Now the first game back in Chicago, he was able to score inside. You see tonight he only has 1 field goal in the paint.
"24 minutes to decide whether it ends here or we return to Chicago."
Ahmad Rashad back at Market Square Arena, where the Bulls are down by 3 at the half. Phil Jackson told his team defensively, way too much thrust inside from the Davis boys and Rik Smits. He also wants them to try to get some more turnovers. Offensively, he said, what I want to do is get the ball into the post. If they can't get it in there, try to do the screen and roll and make Rik Smits has to defend off that screen and roll. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. Well, Larry Bird told his team he played 22.5 minutes of great basketball. He said that's not enough. You can't have any lapses. It was a 7-0 run. He wants to keep Rik Smits on the court. He told him at halftime, be aggressive without getting carried away and picking up some silly fouls. As for Reggie Miller, he wants him to keep shooting the ball even though he's only 1 for 7. And he wants to protect the ball. He was happy with the 3 turnovers. Bob?
Thanks, Jim. Chicago ball. Trailing by only 3.
Jordan looks to cut it to one as he splits two defenders and does what seemingly only he can.
When Rik Smits almost picked up his fourth foul there, that would have been devastating for this Pacers in the first possession of the third quarter.
Jordan gave him the up and under, and you have to honor all of Jordan's fakes because he's so good offensively. That's what makes a good offensive player, is when he can score in a multiple ways.
And now Smits juggles it out of bounds. 9 unanswered Chicago points dating back to the end of the second quarter. And now they can take the lead if they score here. Mullen hits the deck. Pippen fires a three. Halfway down, but it pops out. And there's a whistle on the rebound battle. And it's Longley hit with his third. So both centers, Smits and Longley, each have 3.
Now you watch Jordan in the post. He'll be patient. He reads the double team, gives the fake. Both defenders go for it. The nice up and under and the step through.
Dale Davis baseline. Out to Jackson, and now Mullen. Good look at a three. And his shooting woes continue. That was a true brick. I can't remember the last time I saw Chris Mullen shoot like this in a stretch of games. We all remember seeing Michael Jordan do that night after night. Chicago, with 11 straight points, has turned a 10-point deficit into a 1-point lead.
It's going to be interesting to see how long Bird will stay with Mullen.
Miller, and that's way off. Didn't draw iron.
The Bulls score here. I think that Larry Bird's going to need a timeout. They're on their heels.
Pippen misses the three, and Davis has it.
They've got to reestablish Rik Smits somehow.
Jackson runs into Longley, gets it back, forces it up, no good. But Davis is there to clean up the mess for the Pacers' first basket of the half. Michael guarded by Reggie, into the lane on him. Kukoc all alone. Longley gets the tip.
See, that's the difference between Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller. See, Michael Jordan can create other ways to score. He can go inside and score. He can go outside and score. But Miller only has one way to score, and that's off the jump shot, so you can shut him down.
As Reggie receives the pass, there's a Chicago foul. Looks like Harper.
Watch the punishment that Reggie Miller takes on this play. He's going to start to cut. Watch Kukoc step out. Now, this guy's not known for physical play. He gives him a bump. Harper chases, and he runs right through the pick of Rik Smits and gets the foul. But you can see Reggie Miller's working so hard to get a shot.
Pippen blocks Jackson, but fouls him over the back.
Scottie Pippen was so concerned about Reggie Miller being on the other side. He wanted to force Jackson away. So he opened up Jackson's left hand, and Mark went right down the middle, and Scottie came over the top and fouled him.
Now, what we saw in the first half was when Chris Mullen could not get it going, Larry Bird wasted no time coming in with Derek McKee and Jalen Rose. So he's going to give Chris Mullen, I'm sure, a chance here, maybe to get some shots. But there is no tomorrow. This is an elimination game now.
The Pacers by one again. Market Square much quieter than it was throughout the first half. Miller trying to guard Jordan, but can't.
That's unbelievable. He faked and had no offensive rhythm at all and still faded back over 2 players and hit that shot.
Michael has 21 to lead all scorers. Miller leaning for the shot. No call there.
Reggie's got to get up and get back and play right now. Now's not a time to look at the referee because they had a breakaway on the other end had they gotten that now.
He was on his knees with his hands on his hips, glaring at the ref.
And when you're struggling like he's struggling right now, the officials know that he's not shooting the ball well. So they're not going to bail you out with any type of fouls.
Miller is 1 for 9. Another
Jordan jumper. And the same result. As he continues to sizzle, Miller is ice cold.
See, with this group right now, neither Reggie Miller or Chris Mullin are hitting, and they've become once again a perimeter team. They've got to try to get the ball inside.
To Dale Davis this time, and it's Jordan who fouls him. Michael, though, meanwhile, is 9 of 13, while Miller is 1 of 9.
Watch this pump fake, Isaiah. Look at this, and then he gathers himself. Here comes Smits with the hand, and the great players get the great bounces. And in this time, he steps out and he squares him up. Reggie says, I'm going to give you some space. I'm going to give you the jump shot. Michael says, I'll take it, and he buries it.
And you know why it makes it look so easy is because his game is so complete, Doug. You know, when you're guarding a great offensive player, you have to honor every fake he gives you because he just might go that way. And with Jordan, you have to go for every move that he gives you. If not, then you step back and you give him the J. So when you're talking about Michael Jordan, his mindset is either I'm going to make the shot or I'm going to miss it, but you as a defender have nothing to do with it.
Again, 1 of 2 for Dale Davis. Mullin just went to the bench, replaced by Derek McKee.
See, now Miller will guard Pippen, and they'll put McKee on Jordan, who's a little bit taller defender. So Scottie's going to take Reggie Miller into the post.
They are just abusing Reggie.
There's not going to be an off night. Whoever he's guarding, they're going to go right into the post against him. They did it the other night also.
Bulls by 4. Let's see if Smits can answer. He can.
See, Smits is on the move into the post. He's not fighting Longley. And when he's on the move, he can use his speed.
14 points on 7 of 7.
See, Scottie wants it in the post once again. He told Luke, get out of here.
Jordan fires a 3. It's just short. Smits takes the rebound flat-footed. Pacers can tie or take the lead with a 3.
So McKee really working hard in the post now. Scottie helps. Mark Jackson will have the 3.
You called it, but he elects not to take it. It's Smits from the head of the circle. His first miss. McKee follows and misses. Ball still loose and Harper has it. Now to Pippen. Michael on his right. Kukoc on the drive. And Tony Kukoc gives Chicago a 4-point lead. He has 7.
He's a left-handed player, Isaiah. You got to push him back right. Dale Davis is letting him go to that strong hand.
Mark Jackson into the lane. And now Dale Davis will bring it back to Jackson. Against Kukoc. Davis with the jumper.
See, that's where you have to go. You started out the game with Smits and Davis. There were 9 or 10 from the field in the first half, and you got to come back out in the second half and establish that again. You can't come back out shooting Jays.
Davis has 14. It's Pippen finding Harper. Head fake, jumper, got it.
That's Harper's first field goal. He was 0 for 4 in the first half. He's now 1 for 5. Chicago in much better of an offensive rhythm in the third quarter than they were in the first half.
See, Indiana has to be disciplined enough right now to stay within their game plan. Establish Davis and Smits, open up inside so you can free up the outside.
It's Davis wheeling on Kukoc, who fouled him. And we'll be back to Market Square in a moment.
Miller Genuine Draft presents even more basketball.
Now, we talked about how Rik Smits has to be aggressive when he's playing at home, and he comes in and he establishes himself in the low post. He's 7 of 8 from the field right now, and he's really opened up his game inside. Reggie Miller hasn't caught fire yet. Smits is trying to keep him in a position, but Jordan is slowing him down. You see Reggie wasting a lot of energy trying to get open. But Reggie Miller is the type of player that if Rik Smits can keep him close at the end of the game, we know Miller can make big shots.
And in recognition of this look inside the game, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Let's check in with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. During that timeout, Rick Carlisle, the assistant coach to Larry Bird, told Reggie Miller, square up, get your feet proper, no more off-balance shots. We'll get you a good shot. We'll keep giving you the ball, but don't take a bad shot off balance. Bob?
Here's the good news for the Pacers. The Bulls are now over the limit already with almost 5.5 minutes to play in the period, and the Pacers do not have a team foul yet. Every time Davis has gone to the line, if I recollect this correctly, he's made exactly 1 of 2.
You're right, he's 4 out of 8.
Loose ball scooped up by Miller. Jackson puts it behind the back to evade Pippen. McKee with contact against Michael Jordan, and Jordan's going to pick up the foul, which will be his second.
This is why you must get in the penalty early. And that's what's happened now. Indiana has got it going to the basket. Now they've got to convert on their free throws. In the first half, they were only 6 for 12. The Davises are combined 5 for 12 now. That's not going to get it done in a close game.
And Doug, when you're in a penalty and you're in the bonus, your point guard must recognize that and make sure that you don't settle for jump shots and you keep attacking the basket, keep going to the basket, because Chicago Bulls have to make a decision. Are we going to foul you or give you the layup?
The Pacers once led by 10. They now trail by only 1. Still, it's hard to imagine them beating the Bulls while Reggie Miller shoots 1 of 9. He's got to give him something before it's over. McKee may have fouled over the back, reaching to deflect the pass out. That's what happened.
But you can, I'm sorry, Bob, you can see what's happening, though. They got McKee. Now he's shadowing Michael Jordan. It was Reggie Miller. They'll come in with Jalen Rose. They'll try to put a fresh body on him every 5 or 6 minutes. Hopefully they can make him human in the 4th quarter.
That was McKee's 3rd. Kukoc backing in. Fadeaway. Won't go. Smits takes the rebound. Jackson looks to push it up the floor, but Harper cuts him off. Smits from Davis. He was fouled from behind by Harper, but can't believe he couldn't complete it with the slam.
Well, you know what happened, Bob? He didn't know that Harper was behind him. Otherwise, he would have put 2 hands on the ball. He thought he was wide open. Kukoc takes himself out of the play. Smits man's help. Now he thinks, I'm wide open. And Harper comes over and gets a piece of it. If you got 2 hands on that ball, it's a 3-point play.
You know, this game reminds me so much of game 3 and 4, when at the end of the 3rd quarter, Bird brought in Antonio Davis and Jalen Rose, and they thoroughly dominated the 3rd and the 4th quarter. Let's see if that happens tonight. You look at Smits and Davis right there. That's very important for the Indiana Pacers because they're establishing inside game. And what that allows Reggie Miller to do is get himself together. So if he's able, if the situation gets to the point where he has to make a big shot, he can.
Pacers have the lead. Rodman's in for Chicago. There's Dennis. As if he has to be pointed out. Jordan misses the 3. McKee cut off by Pippen.
Keep taking the ball inside. Make them foul you. Don't settle for the outside shot.
Looking for Smits. Jackson dribbles it off his foot. Foot race to the loose ball. Won by Pippen. To the hoop.
Those kind of plays just kill you as a coach, Bob. You got a chance maybe to go up 3, get a little bit of a spurt going. You turn the ball over, Pippen gets a layup.
See, Smits has to be smart right here. He's got to set the screen and slip right there. So he set the screen and he slipped because Longley's overplaying him. So he read the screen and he slipped right to the basket.
I said what you're talking about is when Miller comes off the screen, Luke Longley is so aware. Watch what he does. He loses contact with him, and Smits goes right to the basket. That's a nice play and a nice read. Just the movement of Reggie Miller created that for Rik Smits.
And Smits must stay on the move, Doug, because he doesn't have the body strength to fight Longley inside. The first half he was successful because he stayed on the move.
Smits, in his 10th year out of Marist, made the All-Star team this season for the first time in his career.
And you notice Smits improving in every series. He'll start slow, but as the series goes on, he gets better and better because it takes him a while to figure out the defense underneath that teams are running against him.
He makes 1 of 2. The game is tied at 64.
Travis Best in now guarding Pippen. Will Pippen take him into the post, and they'll punish him in there?
He looks to do it. Now backs up to the side. It's Jordan. Quick turnaround. Michael Jordan gives Chicago the lead and gives himself 25 points.
And you see Jordan wearing that right side of the court out. The shots that he's made this quarter, most of them will come from that right side.
Miller in the lane. Tried to put it up with the left hand, and now the outlet pass is intercepted by Jordan. Here's Longley driving to the hoop, completing it, and coming to the line. Reggie Miller got so far under the basket, he tried to switch it to his left hand, and his shot hit the underside of the rim. Then the attempt at the saving pass back up top was picked off by Jordan, and that ignited this break.
You watch Reggie Miller coming off the screen, trying to make something happen. He loses the ball, and Derek McKee tries to save it out. Throws it to Jordan. Jordan is patient enough, reads the 3-on-1. Best comes over and fouls Longley.
Once again, we thank the folks at Goodyear and pilot Jim Maloney for the aerial shots of downtown Indianapolis.
It's been a tough night for Reggie Miller. Remember, he tried to draw a foul on a three-point shot leaning in. He got no call. And on this play, you're going to see him curl into the lane. And right now, he's seeking fouls rather than really concentrating on trying to make the field goal. He curls in there, and he's trying to throw himself into somebody here to get a foul. And really, the Bulls just backed off. McKee threw the ball away, and it's a three-point play opportunity now for Luke Longley.
And Doug, when you're a shooter like Reggie Miller and you really haven't developed your post-up game, it's important for you right now to just slow down, take a deep breath, and use your screens better.
So Miller has been yanked, and we check in with Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Phil Jackson just told his team during that timeout that now's the time to put this team in a hole. He said the offense, everything works, just go ahead and execute. Defensively, very important. He said we must defend now with no fouls. Obviously alluding to the foul position that they're in. Bob?
Longley completes the three-point play. And we go over to Jim Gray.
Thank you, Bob. Well, he must have been reading Phil Jackson's mind, Larry Bird, because he said, guys, you've got to weather the storm right here. Don't get your heads down. Keep playing hard, and weather this run by them. Bob?
Travis Best saw his three rattle in and out. It's Michael back to work. This time on Rose. He draws a double team. Kukoc out top. Into the lane he goes. Dumps it off for Longley.
3-second violation.
3-second violation.
Now, Bob, at what point in time is Phil Jackson going to rest Michael Jordan? He's going to have to give him some rest. They only have a 5-point lead. He'd like to have a cushion going into that fourth quarter in Game 3 with an 8-point lead. He rested him, and the Pacers tied the game.
So you got Tony Kukoc guarding Dale Davis now. You got to put it into the post to him. Recognize your mismatches.
Longley out, Kerr in for Chicago. Rose for three. And Kukoc is there on the boards. His reputation for being soft has been changed somewhat in this series. He's taken some shots and stayed in. He's been more aggressive in all aspects of his play. Pippen tried to find Rodman. Dennis didn't see it coming.
See, Rodman's offensive mind is to rebound. It's not to shoot. It's only to screen and to rebound. So he's never looking to accept the ball for layups.
Antonio Davis draws a double. Best gets into the lane. Nifty pass to Dale Davis.
See, that's the Davis you got to go to because he's being guarded by Kukoc. Not Antonio Davis, but Dale Davis.
Does Travis Best know this is the Eastern Conference Finals elimination game? Whipped behind the back.
Wow. Here's Michael. His pass deflected by McKee, but right to Pippen, who overshot it. Antonio Davis battling Rodman. Jump ball. Let's take another look at that great pass from Travis Best to Dale Davis.
Now you watch the guard penetration, and he gives him the up. Oh, behind my back. Did you see that? Dale Davis said, I got you, baby, for the two-handed slam dunk.
And Dale Davis now has 17.
Let's see if Phil Jackson's going to rest Michael here. Get the last minute and then the timeout. Actually, it's going to be Kukoc. A lot of times as a coach, you try to buy that last minute, and then you get the timeouts rest, maybe the first minute of the fourth quarter. Maybe you get 7 or 8 minutes rest, but only miss a minute and a half of the game.
Pacers win the tip. Antonio Davis against Rodman. And Indiana closes to within 1.
I'm surprised Rodman's trying not to get in, is not trying to get in front of him, Isaiah. Antonio Davis is a load down there.
The crowd's back in it, that's for sure. Kerr to Pippen. Deflected, recovered by Dale Davis, who somehow manages to stay in. Now it's Best, stutter step to the hoop. Indiana has the lead.
Now Travis Best ran over the official Danny Crawford down there.
Pippen and a whistle. There's a Pacer foul with 7.3 on the clock, but they had a foul to give, and since it came before Pippen could launch a shot, in fact, they have multiple fouls to give. It's only their 4th of the period. But they're first in the last 2 minutes. So should they commit one in the next 7.3 seconds, the Bulls would be at the line. As it is, they put it in from the side. Burrell with the left hand rejected. Rose heaves it at the other end. Over the backboard, but the period ends with the Pacers rallying back to take the lead at 70-69. And we're back. After these words from your local station, you're watching the NBA on NBC. Spurts at the ends of quarters. How important have they been? Indiana had a 10-point lead late in the first half. Chicago closed on a 7-0 run, trailed by only 3 at halftime. Then eventually took a lead. That lead was at 5 in the closing moments of the third quarter, but Indiana ends that quarter on a 6-0 run and leads by 1. The fourth quarter will begin with Michael Jordan taking that breather you talked about, Doug.
Well, he and Scottie played the entire third quarter. Tony Kukoc 11 of the 12 minutes. 4 bench players right now for the Indiana Pacers. They must make a push and get some cushion with Michael sitting down.
Here is Miller. Travis Best. Missed that time, but he's certainly not afraid. He's not intimidated. That ball almost wound up in the basket. Poked away, and now Travis Best comes up with a steal. Miller gives it up. If he was having a better shooting night, I'm pretty sure he would have taken that open 3. Here's Antonio Davis, and it spills out for him. See, it looked to me like Miller had a shot and didn't want it.
Well, he's very indecisive right now, but as this game continues, he'll get his rhythm back.
It's getting late. Kukoc wants a 3. He was fouled, and he's going to shoot 3 free throws. Number 2 on Antonio Davis. Don't forget, tomorrow at 3 Eastern, NBC begins its coverage of the French Open from Paris. 3rd round action. Michael Chang, women's number 2 seed Lindsay Davenport, and Serena Williams, Venus's younger sister, will be our featured matches. That's tomorrow at 3 Eastern, French Open on NBC. Big American Day in France tomorrow. Number of the featured competitors.
See, that's a big turnaround. Instead of Antonio Davis scoring that layup and going up 3, You foul Tony Kukoc shooting the three. He gets 3 free throws, gives a chance to give the Bulls a 2-point lead. And as long as they stay in the lead, it gives Phil Jackson time to rest Michael Jordan so he can have a big finish. The free throw line, the Bulls have been unbelievable tonight, 18 out of 20 now.
And Doug, I think another interesting point to watch is to see how long Rik Smits stays out of this ball game, because he's 7 or 8 from the field, and he's really established himself in the low post.
Kukoc fouled Davis.
See, Davis and Smits have really been giving the Bulls problems. Those two combined tonight are 13 to 15 from the field. So you want to keep exploiting those two matchups.
That's 4 on Kukoc. And Phil Jackson gets him out of there with Ron Harper coming back in.
So really the only primary scorer right now Chicago has is Scottie Pippen. They have Harper, Rodman, Burrell, and Kerr on the floor.
Here's Rose. Jumper over Burrell.
Let it go, Larry.
And the ball out of bounds to Indiana.
Now with Dale Davis and Antonio Davis in the game together with the Bulls' smaller lineup, they should be able to control and dominate the glass.
They got to get shots up, and then if they miss, they got to get them back. Just like that. Give yourself multiple shots.
Miller gave it up to Dale Davis. Harper got a piece of it. It's out of bounds off Chicago, but they deny Davis the easy 2.
See, that's when speed becomes a factor. You see Dale Davis much bigger and much stronger, but Burrell jumped at him so fast that it threw him off balance.
Here's Best. Miller, who's 1 of 11 from the floor. Rose on the move. And he was fouled. He'll come to the line with a chance to tie it with 10:27 remaining. The foul is on Burrell. That's his 4th.
Isaiah, if we would have talked today and said Reggie Miller would have been 1 for 11 in this game tonight, and Jalen Rose would be at the line with 10:27 to go with a chance to tie this game, I don't think we would have believed that.
Well, Dale Davis has taken up part of the slack, equaling his personal playoff high with 17 points tonight.
Well, he's missed free throws. Indiana is shooting 78% in this series against Chicago tonight. It's been the free throw line that's been the story for the Chicago Bulls.
Rose can't capitalize on the chance to tie it. Still Chicago by 2. Here's Scottie Pippen against Antonio Davis, who fouled Scottie.
Antonio Davis was the penalties third. 2 fouls on the Pacers.
That's 3 on Davis. Both the Pacers and Bulls with 2 team fouls. Chicago ball from the side. Rodman takes a hook. Why, we'll never know. Rebound Davis.
They got to set some screens for Reggie Miller so he can get a shot up, and the Davis boys can play on that offensive glass.
Nice pass inside from Antonio to Dale. Harper on the move, followed by Rodman just as it came off the rim. He trots back the other way, grinning from ear to ear.
See, Antonio Davis went to help, which left Rodman open for the offensive putback.
Miller. There it is. A 3 for Reggie, just his 2nd field goal.
See, he's too good a shooter to stay in the slump, particularly in a game like this.
I think you're going to see Phil Jackson call a timeout here to get Michael Jordan back in the game with this possession. That's a big shot for Reggie. He's going to try to quell the momentum of this home crowd.
Pacers by a point. The view once more from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes inside Market Square Arena. There have been 13 lead changes and 12 ties, and it's the Pacers by 1 with 8:48 to go.
Now, Reggie Miller is such a great shooter, and he's too good a shooter to continue struggling. You see he struggles here with the three-point shot that he takes off balance. Then he tries to go into the lane to force some contact to see if he can get some rhythm on the free throw line. Then he misses a wide-open three. But then he takes his time, settles down, squares himself up, and then nails it. You see the follow-through on the shot, and great shooters always believe that they will make their next shot because they spend so much time practicing.
After the timeout, here is Michael Jordan. Jalen Rose is on it. Jordan wastes no time. It spins in and out. Longley, however, comes up with it.
Rik Smits got to get that rebound. Right now, rebounding and free throws are going to determine the last 8 minutes of this game.
Longley stumbles, and Best takes it away. He's got Rose on his left. 2-on-1 break, and Jalen Rose is fouled by Steve Kerr.
Isaiah gave it up too soon. He had Steve Kerr back. What you've got to do if you're the point guard is you've got to drive that ball right to the basket and make him come over and stop you. And then drop the ball off and you'll get a layup. He gave it up too soon, and he allowed Steve Kerr to get over and get the foul.
Yeah, or either you play pity-pat back there. When Jalen Rose caught it, a quick touch back to Travis Best would have got him a layup.
Tell you one thing about Travis Best, though. He's in his third year out of Georgia Tech, so he post-dates their 2 trips to the Eastern Conference Finals that the Pacers made in '94-95. He may make the occasional mistake, but he is not intimidated. He wants to play under pressure, apparently.
Well, he played in a big-time program at Georgia Tech, and he was well-schooled as a point guard. He also had Larry Brown, who was good with point guard. So he's learning slowly how to mature into that position.
Again, free throws and rebounding.
Rose hits the free throws that he didn't make the last time. Pacers by 3. Jordan into the corner for Harper, and now he gets it back. Longley with a long one, way off. Loose ball to Jalen Rose. Rose on the move over Kerr. And Rodman skies to snatch the rebound down.
Jalen Rose got too excited there, Isaiah. He had Steve Kerr on. Take your time.
Now, Doug, Indiana has made the decision that every time that Michael Jordan gets it, they're going to come off of Reggie Miller to double team, and they're going to test Ron Harper with the jump shot.
And Joe Crawford blows his whistle for an Indiana foul.
Anytime Smits is involved in the pick and roll, it's so hard for him to move his feet. So what you're seeing the Bulls do is lower that shoulder and look to go to the basket.
4 on Smits. Each team has 3 team fouls. Jordan. And a foul as he tries to get rid of it to Harper. Jalen Rose can't believe it. That'll be his 3rd.
See, you know that the double team is coming from the top. And if you're Jalen Rose, you got to be a little smarter as a defender. You got to force Jordan back to the middle.
Ball knocked free, and Travis Best thought that Kerr might have touched it last before it went out. But they award the ball to Chicago.
Bob, that's 14 fouls now against the Pacers. So on the 5th, the Bulls will shoot free throws the rest of the way. Anytime you go to the basket now in your Chicago, you want to think about creating contact.
They call a foul on Best off that contact. Harper into the lane and outside to Kerr. Now it's Longley with the left hand. And Rodman has it fall out for him. Still he battles and gets it to Longley. Michael turns, fires, and cuts the lead to 1.
2 offensive rebounds on that possession. The Pacer fans were upset. They thought Longley committed an offensive foul. The referee said, you better stand your ground and play on. We're not going to give you that right now.
27 for Michael. Best finds Smits, and Smits finds the bottom of the hoop.
See, just a little simple screen and roll. Made Longley move his feet just a little bit, which freed up Smits for the step-back jump shot.
19 for Rik. Harper, short, Longley to follow.
Another offensive rebound. Now, Rik Smits has got to do a job, Bob. When he comes off that screen, he's got to get back into play. He's having a difficult time getting back in there.
Best working against Kerr, runs him around a screen. Now Smits gets it back, pops the jumper, and hits it again.
See, that's a smart offensive player. I shot the J the first time. I got it back the second time. Now I'm going to give you the pump fake and the dribble getaway move for the easy deuce.
He's as hot as Miller has been cold. 9 of 10 for the big Dutchman. Rose knocked it away from Jordan.
Isaiah, watch Rik Smits now. He comes over to give some help. And there's Luke Longley on the offensive boards. But you know what? If you're going to give up 2, you better come back and get 2. And he follows with back-to-back hoops. This one on a rollout. The pump fake, like the guard. And he shoots the open jumper and buries it.
And you're watching the NBA on NBC.
Jim Gray back in Indianapolis during that timeout. Rik Smits had his left index finger worked on by David Craig. He jammed it down the court last time. They put some of that freezing stuff on it to try and numb it down. Had a little bit of a massage. He's going to continue in the game, but he's very sore in his left index finger, non-shooting hand, Bob.
Let's just hope, for Indiana's sake, that the freeze-it doesn't cool him off, because he's sizzling now.
Hey, this is the playoffs. You cut that finger off.
Well, let's not go to that extreme. Chicago, meanwhile, turns it over.
Let's see if they go back to that screen roll with Best and Smits. It's been working. He'll come high now and roll out and look to shoot that shot.
Reggie into Antonio Davis, who was fouled. That's Pippen, and it's his third. If there's a Game 7, as you know, it's Sunday night from the United Center in Chicago. An earlier start than these weeknight games. 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Showtime precedes it. And then tip-off from the United Center is at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central Time, if we go to a 7th game.
That was a great feed by Reggie Miller into the post to Antonio Davis. Now let's watch these last 5 minutes, because traditionally that has been Miller time in Market Square Arena.
1 of 2 for Antonio Davis, a 4-point Pacer lead. Kukoc back in for Chicago. Jordan around the Kukoc screen, spinning and drawing the contact that will bring him to the free throw line.
See, when you're Rik Smits, you must be smarter right there. Jordan was spinning, you had him out of control. You just jump up and hold your ground and make him make a tough shot. But Jordan, he's so great and he's so good, you're always afraid when he's coming, so your natural tendency is to give in and foul.
Which is Smits' 5th. Jordan is now 5 of 6 from the line and has 28 points in the game.
You can see the confidence that Larry Bird has in his bench. He's got 2 starters on the floor right now. His 2 stars in Miller and Smits. And then he's got Antonio Davis, who's been terrific in this series, and Jalen Rose and Travis Best, who've been excellent in the home court and in the wins here.
See, I agree with the decision Bird has made right here to leave Smits in with 5 fouls, because this is your season.
Well, Chicago's gone small now. Kukoc is playing him. He's going to try to front him in the post.
Reggie, little turnaround, and his bad luck continues.
He tried to guide that one in the basket. That's one of those toughest shots in basketball, the little 6-footer where you can't use the glass.
He's 2 of 13. Michael. Rodman battling for the rebound in between 2 Pacers. And it will still be Chicago ball. Pippen to trigger it in with 4:10 on the clock. Jordan spins by Rose. No basket. Offensive foul. 3 on MJ.
Now, we saw that call. Remember, in Game 4, Michael was called 3 times on offensive fouls. Watch the left arm. He's going to lock him and get an advantage. That's an excellent call.
Scottie Pippen got into the passing lane and picked it off. The Bulls can tie with a basket here.
Best is playing him. They're going to double team. You got to pick up the cutter.
The cutter was Harper, and MJ certainly picked him up. The dunk ties the game.
See, if you're Rik Smits right now, you can't let Tony Kukoc play you. You got to establish position, get yourself down in there low, and make a shot.
Jalen Rose forces one, and Pippen gets a piece of it. And now Rose, in frustration, fouls Scottie. That is a terrible sequence for Jalen Rose.
Well, Scottie Pippen is one of the best defenders in the NBA, and you're going to see him shoot the gap, read the eyes of Tony Davis, and pick that one off. And it leads to the give and go off the double team. The weak side, nobody helps. And Ron Harper with the dunk. And then the frustration foul by Jalen Rose after he took the tough shot. And Scottie Pippen is at the free throw line where he was 0 for 2 in Game 4. He steps up and knocks this one in.
And Doug, the reason why all of that happened is because Rik Smits failed to screen Scottie Pippen. We talked about earlier, the screener gets the shot. And Rik Smits is failing to set screens now as he did in the first half.
That was Pippen's first miss at the line. He's 6 for 7 for the night. The Bulls by just 1. And Best brings it to the front court and asks for a timeout, which comes with 3:07 to play in the 4th quarter of Game 6. Jim Gray tells us that Larry Bird just told his team, don't worry about what's behind you, meaning the first 45 minutes and the first 5+ games of this series. Worry about what's ahead of you, the remaining 3:07. Normally, down the stretch in a close game, this is Indiana's go-to guy. But will he be tonight?
And I think that message was delivered more for Reggie Miller than anyone.
Here is Best with Michael all over him. Jordan almost stole it. Rose came up with it and found Smits.
Great vision by Jalen Rose. Great vision. Picked up the loose ball, looked underneath the basket, and threw a bullet right to Rik Smits.
Smits leads the Pacers with 23. More importantly, the Pacers lead the game again. These are the moments Jordan lives for. Into the lane, turnaround fadeaway. That's why he lives for them.
See, I think if you're Travis Best, you got to run at Michael Jordan and make him throw the ball to Ron Harper. You cannot let him beat you tonight at the end of this game.
And Doug, Dick Harder was screaming from the bench, come double team, come double team.
Smits out to Rose. Smits turns, fires, and gives Indiana the lead. With 2 minutes to go, the lead has changed hands 17 times in this game. Michael. The double team comes. And his shot goes in and out, but he was fouled. Narrowly missing a possible three-point play. That's 5 on Jalen Rose.
Now you watch Jalen Rose right here, picks up the ball and throws the bullet right to Rik Smits down underneath. Now Rik Smits takes his time, reposts, sets up, turns around for the J. When you have a smaller defender guarding you, take your time and let it clear out.
Jordan's 32nd point ties the game at 86.
Luke Longley now back into the game, so Phil Jackson has his best defensive team on the floor. He'll have Longley against Smits. He'll have Rodman on Antonio Davis. Michael Jordan will try to pressure Best and keep them out of their offensive sets.
And Longley is also an offensive option for the Bulls because Smits has 5 fouls. Chicago by 1. Best. And a whistle, an illegal defense against Chicago. That means a free throw here because they had one called earlier. And look at Phil Jackson's reaction.
I'll tell you why this is big. Now, if Reggie Miller makes this free throw, it's a tie. So if they score, you get off that odd point. They've been on the odd point. It would give you a 2-point lead instead of trading back going 1-1 is what they've done the last 2 possessions.
And Doug Smits must be smarter right here. Recognize the fact that Longley has come back into the game, so you can't fight him down there. You can't muscle him. Take him out, use your speed, use your quickness to go around him.
And Travis Best has got to be very careful not to dribble against this clock too much.
Michael Jordan, one of the great defensive players in the league. All over Best. 10 seconds to shoot. Best takes it right into Longley. There's contact but no whistle. And Rodman called a timeout, I believe, as he grabbed the loose ball. Yes, that's what he did.
How about the presence and the size of Luke Longley? You had the penetration by Travis Best. Look at Luke. It's like a roadblock. You're going nowhere. And Best just running in place. Rodman was able to get the timeout before he fell out of bounds. Bob, remember now last year, you could not get it if you were falling out of bounds. This year, he had both feet in bounds. Watch out. It's like a wide receiver in football. They're both down. Give me the timeout.
Heady play by Rodman. 1:09 to decide it. .69 seconds remaining in regulation. 69 seconds to decide Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals with 2 of the greatest playoff pressure players in NBA history on the floor. But one of them, Michael Jordan, has 33 points on 12 of 21. The other, Reggie Miller, has 8 points on 2 of 13. Into Jordan.
Can Indiana defend this play? Michael Jordan without fouling.
Michael misses it. Loose ball. Out of bounds to Indiana. Now let's see what Travis Best does with it. Jim Gray tells us that during the timeout, Larry Bird echoed your sentiments, Doug Collins, when he said, look, Travis, don't take it into the lane. Don't dribble the ball too much. Direct traffic out there.
Well, Michael Jordan now is on Reggie Miller. Best on Kerr. He can beat him off the dribble.
So that changes things.
He's dribbling it too much.
He goes to the basket and hits on the run. He's got his own ideas, and sometimes I guess they're the right ideas.
Well, at that time, he was being guarded by Steve Kerr and not Michael Jordan. So he set Steve Kerr up and used his foot speed because he didn't have to go against Jordan's foot speed.
Now remember, he made the big play in Game 4 to bring him within 1, almost on the same kind of play. This kid has got no conscience. Up and off the glass, 33 seconds to go, and he have a 2-point lead.
No conscience and no fear. Pacers by 2. Larry Bird, the demeanor we've come to expect. The rest of the place is nuts. Chicago has 1 timeout plus a 20 remaining. Indiana with 3 timeouts plus a 20. Both teams essentially in the penalty because the Pacers are already over the limit and the Bulls will be on their next foul.
All right, now Steve Kerr is on the floor because he's a shooter. They've been doubling with Best. Remember Game 6 last year, the Stockton double team, and Kerr hit the shot. Michael has confidence in him. Best must stick to him.
Into Longley it goes. Michael on the move, looks to tie, but can't. Longley grabs it, gets it back to MJ, into the lane. And it won't drop, but Jordan will come to the line for 2 free throws that could tie it. Longley's rebound was crucial. Antonio Davis picks up his 4th foul.
Well, it just took a bad bounce on Davis right there. You see the ball bounce long. He had Longley boxed out. But watch Antonio Davis reaches in, but Jordan still has the strength to power through the move.
Well, the stone face went away. He finally showed a reaction. Michael needs them both to tie. Halfway there into the teeth of a hostile crowd.
I don't think the Pacers are going to take a timeout here. I don't think they want Chicago to be able to regroup their defense. Look for them to run a little play here right out of this, get the last shot. Travis Best has to watch the double team.
Tie game, 35 for Jordan. No timeout, as you predicted. Best to the basket, collides with Rodman. Ball comes loose. A whistle for a foul, and let's see who it's on.
I think they gave it to Jordan reaching in. See, Jordan gambled, and Best rolled off of him, used his elbow, and Jordan reached in.
Travis Best is 36 of 40 at the free throw line in the playoffs. 8.5 seconds. Got it.
Wow. You want to keep it off that odd number. This is huge to keep it to a 2-point lead.
That was nothing but net.
A 90% guy in the postseason. Hits them both. Chicago uses its last full timeout. The game's greatest player hit 2 to tie it. A third-year man out of Georgia Tech walked to the line at the other end of the floor and hit 2 to give his team the lead. Mark Jackson is their starter, but the important minutes in the 4th quarter throughout this series have been played by Travis Best, at least after they got through with the first couple of games in Chicago. So they start with Jackson, but they save their best for last.
Bob, one of the things that's going to happen here, you know that the Bulls are going to try to get something going to the basket. They're not going to settle for a jump shot unless they just have to. But what happens is you see a Michael Jordan going to the basket or a Pippen, you get sucked in, and that's when you give up that three-point shot. Kerr, Kukoc in the basketball game. So you have to have the discipline, even if you see Michael take that ball to the basket, not to leave one of those open shooters.
And Doug, Larry Bird made the decision to bring Derek McKee back into the game to eliminate Jordan's ability to post up on a smaller player. So Jordan may take him outside and use his penetration, but don't be surprised if you see Tony Kukoc with the ball, because Phil Jackson likes to go to him in these situations also.
If this goes to a 7th game, obviously Larry Bird's Pacers have a chance to win the whole series. But at best, Chicago would go to Utah with very little rest. Game Sunday. Game 1 of the finals would be Wednesday in Utah. And they would have gotten through the Eastern Conference Finals, assuming they win the 7th game at home, without having won against the Pacers on the road. And Utah would have 4 of the possible 7 games against Chicago, or Indiana for that matter, at the Delta Center. So even if they escape in a 7-game series, losing tonight could hurt Chicago. And who's to say they beat them at home?
Now Ron Harper is in the game. So they've gone to a small lineup. He has Dale Davis on him. So Dale Davis has got to be very careful here.
Watch Kukoc on the penetration.
It's Michael. That's the guy to watch. He stumbles and loses it. McKee has it. The Pacers and the Bulls will take it to the limit. Now wait a second. The officials are saying that there may have been a foul with a second or maybe tenths of a second on the clock. Right now they have put 4/10 of a second up on the clock. which is not enough time for Chicago anyway to do anything but rebound the ball and fling it to the other end of the floor. I guess they could call a 20-second timeout.
Make the first one and miss the second one so they can't throw a long pass. If he misses the first one, you've got to make sure that you get that three-point lead. I think you're going to see him here try to miss this shot.
I would put the points on the board right now. I would not miss. Put the points on the board and end the game.
He misses it on purpose. Pippen grabs it, and that will do it. For the first time since the conference semifinals in 1992, Michael Jordan's Bulls, we're not counting when he was gone all of 94, or when he was a shadow of himself in 95 when he came back briefly, the real Michael Jordan Bulls taken to an elimination game for the first time in 6 years.
You see, Bird made the decision to bring McKee back into the game for his defensive ability and also his defensive reputation. He has a defensive reputation, so the officials are not going to call a call on him because he has that reputation.
Well, you could see that he put his right arm down and gave Michael a push, and he lost his balance. Interestingly enough, both finishes we've had, games 4 and 6 here, have ended with a controversial no call.
Let's watch Bird's reaction right here. Again, been there, done that. We got a game 7. Congratulations, guys.
Wow. These teams have played 10 times this year, and they've split them 5 and 5. One to decide who faces the Jazz in the final. Here's Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. Through the bedlam out here. Tell us about that last minute of play, your big shot. Larry Bird, I heard the huddle. He told you, don't dribble the ball too much, try and distribute it. Did you decide to go to the basket when Kerr came on you instead of Jordan?
Well, I think it was a case where both plays broke down, and I just had to go to the hoop and make a play. And fortunately enough for me, it worked out.
Isaiah Thomas said you had the guts of a burglar. What kind of guts did it take against the defending champions and putting your team on the line for a game 7?
Well, this team has had a lot of confidence all year, and we just been making plays down the stretch of big games, and we just wanted to come out here and play as hard as we could, and things worked out.
Could you ever have imagined that the Pacers would have won a game in which Reggie Miller shot so poorly?
No, not really, but we have a bunch of game people on this team, a lot of character, and I think we showed that tonight.
Congratulations. We look forward to Game 7.
Thank you, and I just want to say hello to my parents and the rest of my family back at home.
All right, congratulations, Travis. Let's send it over to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Jim. Rick, what a turnaround from the last game to this one. How did you guys turn it around like this?
I don't know how we did it, but we've been able to do that all season. Every time we lost big throughout the season, we came back and had a terrific game. It was much the same tonight.
But even after the last game, it looked like you guys were morally down, like it wasn't going to work out for you. But tonight, you come in ready to play.
Yeah, we were. The crowd always helps, and tonight we had tremendous effort from our bench. Dale Davis was phenomenal. And Travis, of course, was big there in the clutch.
How about for you, Rick? A lot of pressure on you coming in tonight to show up big. 11 and 12, 25 points.
Well, I didn't get really into my offensive rhythm the last game. As shooters, we want to come back and bounce back right away.
Now, going into the next game, do you feel a lot more confident after this one?
Yeah, we still haven't played well in Chicago, so I think we're due.
All right, congratulations on a great game. We'll see you on Sunday. All right, back to Bob.
Ahmad, thanks a lot. After the Bulls lost Game 3 here, they still had a 2-1 lead, and Michael Jordan termed that defeat a bump in the road. That bump in the road has just become a giant roadblock. I don't care if they're at home or not. I don't care that they're 28-2 in the playoffs at the United Center over the last couple of years as they've won championships. When you take it to one game against a team that has beaten you there during the regular season and has split 10 games with you, playoffs and regular season combined, you're in jeopardy. So that deciding Game 7 will be Sunday night, 7 Eastern time, beginning with showtime. Tomorrow at 3 Eastern, NBC begins its coverage of the French Open. Michael Chang, Lindsay Davenport, and Serena Williams are on the schedule. Tonight, after your late local news, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Jay welcomes John Lithgow, and musical guest, Third Eye Blind. For Isaiah Thomas, Doug Collins, Ahmad Rashad, and Jim Gray. I'm Bob Costas. How much fun is this? This has been the NBA on NBC.